This is about. This is actually. This is actually about as weird of a pre-stream chat as I think we've gotten in a while. Yeah, no, kind of weird. Oh, my throat is kind of scratchy. I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, I took a women's studies course in college as an elective. It was available. It was in a good time slot. I said it may be interesting. I've got an open mind. Yeah, an elective. I mean, you want to have a well-rounded college education, and I did take the class, and I would say, in general, I'm glad I took it. However, there were many specific segments of the class that, on reflection, I thought was very bizarre. How many of the students were male? Well, there was me. There might have been one or two other guys. The main things that I can recall. Was there being a section on rebirthing therapy, which, I mean, I've read about it since after the fact. Apparently, it can end up being actually incredibly traumatic. The concept is, in an attempt to re-foster a connection with a child, I think they take like a series of like heavy blankets and they try to take you as a child, adolescent, adult, I guess, and try and simulate what it would be like. It's a legitimate psychological treatment. Well, I don't know if I want to use the word legitimate, but they want you to pretend as if you're being given birth to again, and apparently it's supposed to help simulate. I don't know. All I know is it was discussed in the class as something that could be helpful. Since then, I have read about it. Apparently, it can be very traumatic for the people involved. And no, I did not go to the doctor to be rebirthed. That is not why we started the stream late. We started the stream late so we can cover the Sony State of Play. I just took a test. I am corona negative, but I did have a sussy thrusy last week, so maybe this is like a little bit of that. The other thing, and this is something that actually I was a little upset about. I was a little upset. We were writing a paper for something we had to do, like whatever. You're in college, you write papers. You write papers all the time, and you're allowed to cover anything within a range of topics. We had gone over the really incredibly traumatic female circumcision, which is really, I mean, it's like mutilation. I mean, that's not good. I mean, I know there's cultural things. Some places they still practice it. They claim it's cultural. I think it's pretty messed up. But I wanted to write a paper on the male circumcision. And nobody took it seriously. Nobody, they're like, oh, that's fine. That's normal. Penises are weird. Unless they've been diced up. I said, hey, do you think it's a little bit of a double standard? No, they didn't care. I said maybe it'd be why not let everybody have a choice? I have to. I'm going to send you the files later, ZMTL. It's somewhere under the Boomer channel if you search. What the hell is this stream? Already getting real weird. Did you tell the women in your study class about your meat pineapple? I think that was the semester just before I had the pineapple. Now, I talk a strong game. About having given birth. I would not want to stare down that class and explain to them that my 5-pound mud baby is equivalent of childbirth. That would be very difficult to do. Parka Forever, thank you. I don't know what's going on with Stream Elements. It's kind of delayed, isn't it? One guy cared to do the reading on circumcision. He was known as the circumcision the whole term. I mean, I just think if you're making like permanent modifications to a human being, you should probably give them the opportunity to make that decision later in life. I mean, people are like, oh, it's going to hurt so much later in life. But if you want to do that, yeah, people get their teeth taken out sometimes. And we've got medicine for that. No, my wife does not have a baby. She is not giving birth, nor is she going to be rebirthed. Nor am I giving birth, nor am I being rebirthed. None of those things are happening. There's a circumcision reversion procedure. I mean, but do you... I mean, you know, do you really want to... It's like covering up a tattoo. I mean, it's never gonna be the same. Oh man, no, no, Superstar, you get it. You got it all wrong, buddy. So I see I have 4 smoke nuts. Smoke these nuts, streamer. I want to get more than that. You don't want kids yet? I don't know why you felt the need to put yet there. Just end that sentence two words early, and yeah, you're on the right track. I think kids are great. My brother's got kids. My sister-in-law's got kids. You know, see them once a week, once every other week. Did you see Happy Death Day? No. I mean, I don't know, man. You watch, like, a lot of, like, movies and media and stuff, and it's all like, oh, yeah, kids represent the future and hope. You know, we got to have them, you know, to give hope for the future. But, like, you ever see, like, a parent that's, like, hopeful? It feels like to me when I normally see a parent that's just like, I don't want to use the word misery because that's a very strong word, but you see like a lot of not a lot of sleep, and my whole thing, it's always this, okay? In my entire existence, like as long as I've been an adult, I have had a number of people ask me, when are you going to have kids? I have almost never heard anybody say, you should have kids. And there is... there's a significant, like, the loaded difference between those statements is enormous. Will you play Elden Ring again? I'm planning on doing a offline playthrough, like a non-streamed playthrough again at some point. I really enjoy the game. It's not like a huge blockbuster event on my channel when I do it. If I were to do speedruns, it might be a little popular. But the thing is like, when you're streaming new content on Twitch, you're streaming at the same time that like literally every other streamer is streaming the new content. And then you're also streaming at a time when probably a lot of people want to play the games themselves and not get super spoiled. So, you know, I mean, those are considerations that I make when I choose, you know, what sort of content I'm going to stream. I like to stream content that ideally is like a little bit different, a little bit unique. You thought of having kids but in this world? I mean, like I said, like there's this whole movement. I don't know if it's recent or if it's always been around, where like people are like ew, breeders, like, oh, people having kids, like so gross, like little crotch goblins, like I don't feel that way. Like, I think if people have kids, I mean, I think that's great. I think it's important. I'm glad. I mean, I'm not so jaded, I'm not so pessimistic that I want to see like the human species decide to go extinct through like non-reproduction. I'm not that screwed up in the brain. It says there's another smoke nut. Where is it? There it is. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I mean, so for Elden Ring, yeah, some challenge runs might be fun at a certain point. If I decide I want to route some speed runs, that might be fun. Banbro's good early game, but if I have to make Girototis, like, I'm not going to do that. Like, I don't think I'm going to do that. That doesn't sound fun. I think we're good. I think we're going to be okay. He's got his poison weapon. Yes, I mean, I don't know. Here's the thing with Monster Hunter. I've had this before. We haven't had the conversation super recently. Like, I'm pretty good at it. So I'm good enough at it where I could play the video game and chat to you guys as if I'm not playing a video game, which is kind of important. It's helpful because we get a little side benefit of almost being like a just chatting stream. We're going up through Sharpness. If it's a really popular challenge run, like if it seems like people are like really digging it, I could see the run going up through maybe Fatalis. But it's at least the plan right now is to get up through Shar. Is that good? I think it's fine. And then, you know, going along with, like, you know, being decent in the game, like, I get to do interesting challenges that I don't think other people out there are really doing. So I'm able to provide some unique content. I mean, I don't know. I don't know that anyone in the history of Monster Hunter World has decided to do a playthrough where they've beaten the game from scratch and streamed it while using only red sharpness. So I think that's interesting that I'm able to provide whatever the hell this is. How long are we playing Monster Hunter World today? So we have roughly an hour before the state of play starts. I don't think the state of play is going to go for more than 30 minutes to an hour. And then we're going to go back to World for probably, I mean, another couple hours.
Yeah.
It's probably not going to be a super long stream. It'll probably only be about like 4 or 5 hours, but we're at least going to get up to hopefully making like our master rank weapon. I've ever been to BJ's Wholesale. So I've been to BJ's, I've been to Sam's Club, and I've been to Costco. Sam's Club is just like bigger, slightly cheaper Walmart. And so I don't really see the reason to really get a BJ's membership. Sam's Club is okay for meat, but it doesn't really have anything that nice or super fancy. Costco is what I like. It's a little bit more expensive, but you're getting like really nice stuff that you might actually consume. State of Play is like their Sony Nintendo Direct, except obviously it's not Nintendo. It's Sony. They've said specifically the event is going to be a little bit more focused around Japanese produced and published games. So chances if you're in a Monster Hunter stream, you might find it interesting because, you know, you might be interested in JRPGs or Japanese produced games. Have I had Costco Food Court tendies? No. Make some tea today? I just had some coffee. I probably could make some tea. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what's going on. There'll definitely be like some Final Fantasy 16 news. Probably some Ghostwire stuff. I mean, the Costco food court is better. The benefits are better. The return policy is better. Stuff is more expensive. Freedom Unite Remastered, that is not going to happen, my friend. I'm so sorry. Freedom Unite Remastered and they had Charge Blade in? Yeah, that would be sick. Would... Insect Glaive would still be a good weapon without mounting too, wouldn't it? That'd be so weird seeing like Insect Glaive in like 2nd or 3rd gen. Bouncing around. I wonder what the vertical hitboxes are like in that game. The issue with Charge Blade and Insect Glaive is even in Generations, when a lot of the motion values got toned down, they're still like one step ahead of the sort of damage and motion values we were getting in 2nd generation. What is the point of remasters? Just make a new one? It's actually a really good... That's an interesting point, and it's actually, that's the policy... It feels like, in general, Ubernauts, that they hold at Capcom. They rarely go back and remaster or update Monster Hunter games. Applebud, hello, good afternoon. You know, part of it is game preservation, you know, game history, stuff like that. And Capcom is probably, outside of Monster Hunter, debatably one of the best companies in the world about that. Eat a Pop-Tart. I'm trying to keep my carbs low. Carbs and are the enemy. Super sorry. I'm trying. I'm out of bulking season. Just one? Just one Pop-Tart. I don't own any Pop-Tarts. I mean, don't get me wrong. Carbohydrates are delicious. I mean, there's a reason why people eat them. I mean, if they didn't taste good, I mean, everybody would be... Well, I mean, my chat is already full of completely ripped Adonises anyways, but the whole world would be completely ripped Adonises. Holomac, hello. Am I blessed because I started the stream later? I'm able to get you? I normally stream at, like, peak EU time, though. You wish? No. I've said it multiple times. I have literally the most attractive Twitch chat on the platform. Little hollow brains. Like, nothing going on upstairs. Smooth. Hollow, empty. Not too much going on, but perfect tens, physically. Have I talked by there's laser dragons in world? It's because bioenergy. Where's the last thing? Is that it? If I had to pick a Pop-Tart to eat, it would be the cinnamon and brown sugar one. Those are really tasty. He's just been munching. Xenojeev has been munching on bioenergy, so he's all charged up. What am I doing? Too sweet? I mean, what do you... I mean, if I can be so bold, why are you eating a Pop-Tart unless you want something that's sweet? Like, what do you... I mean, if I can be as real as possible, like just straight bro talk right now. How's the red sharpness run been? It's been really hard, actually. We've had some really interesting conversations, like, talking about why people time out. You know, my issue with blueberry Pop-Tarts, though, and I'm sure you could respect this, is, like, the blueberry flavor is very artificial. And I'm not saying, like, cinnamon sugar is not artificial, but it tastes like it's supposed to be artificial, whereas blueberry, I know what a blueberry tastes like. I don't know what a cinnamon sugar is supposed to taste like. Is that dumb? Does that make sense? The strawberry tastes a little bit more natural to me. I don't know that I've ever had a raspberry Pop-Tart. Cinnamon and sugar is supposed to taste like cinnamon and sugar, and you know what? It does. It absolutely tastes like cinnamon and sugar. You cannot say that it does not taste like that. You want a Kool-Aid Pop-Tart. Like the fruit punch? That sounds gross as hell, bro. That sounds awful. I'm sorry, I don't want to, like... I don't want to be a dick, that sounds terrible. Ugh. $10 damage, 18 damage. Pretty good. Let's go ahead and get a tenderizer. Let's just... Oh, this is gonna sound great. What was that? 45 damage, maybe? Oh my god. Oh, it's so bad. There's actually probably a significant amount of damage that we can do with our pods right now. There we go. Each one's a helm splitter. Alright, this should be okay. That was okay. That was okay. That was actually okay damage. You see that? I saw some 18s. $45 damage is the exact amount of damage you deal in 50 minutes with a greatsword. Just get used to doing the draw slash. Too many people get too obsessed with big number, I feel like. Constantly going for true charge slashes all the time. Sometimes I feel like TA runs are really great to learn from. At the same time, I also feel like TA runs kind of create a warped sense of how weapons play. It definitely encourage like maximum greed. So yeah, I'm allowing, the only thing I'm really allowing is tenderizing until we get to master rank. Well, I mean, it makes sense that Fatalis gear breaks the game. Will you make it damage low in time? We're gonna be fine. I'm a professional. I think so too. I feel like, you know, the full game speedruns that I do remain some fairly popular content because it represents a little bit more what normal, hopefully, at least slightly skilled gameplay looks like consistently. Oh, yeah, no, the naked Rajang, that ruined me. Absolutely. Let's do that. Let's maybe take this. I don't know if we can get the chest properly. Oh! Okay. Maybe after this? Oops. He's starting to believe! Bludgeoner would be great if I didn't need Mind's Eye. He's starting to believe! I missed it. That was okay, though. We might actually get it again, because he's flying. Unfortunate. That was pretty good, though. I don't know that I've ever gotten that many knockdowns in a row with, like, a normal weapon. I'm definitely satisfied. Runus, what time is it for you? Is that because you normally phase them out of the glowy thing? The timing is really tight. So what happens is when his chest is glowing, you know, any significant amount of damage will cause him to trip. And there's a very short window of time between when he is getting out of his tripped animation and before he's allowed to do any attacks, so you can try and hit him again. Is this the best game ever made? It is arguably the best Monster Hunter game ever made, which would put it very close to one of the best games ever made. Finish your first 4U expedition. Congratulations. Here's to many more. I wonder if I can hit him here. If I do this. It was okay, right? Oh, anyone can criticize that. Crazy for doing relic only run? No, I think I've heard of people doing that before. Including the armor too. That's a little crazy. People have definitely done enough relic grinding to get edge master and low rank though. That's pretty fun. I need to sharpen my weapon, man. Do you think the Monster Hunter team is under lots of pressure and stress for Monster Hunter 6? I get this sense that they hire perfectionists under the Monster Hunter team. Like, I feel like that's a little bit like Ryozo and the team that he specifically hires. So I do feel like they have a lot of pressure, not only on themselves, but also, you know, I think the stockholders, you know, have expectations as well that the next game is going to be huge. I'm sure there's at least a small amount of disappointment in the office about the general reception around Rise, and, you know, obviously not that it's a bad game, really, but that it didn't necessarily have the last little bit of secret sauce to more recapture the world. Ryozo is the son of the founder. Imagine the pressure. Well, you know, it's interesting. Hook, thank you. I don't know why sub notifications aren't going off, by the way. Ryozo's been interviewed before about saying how he's happy. You know, he considers himself more of an artist than, you know, a manager. And so he's happy he's not the firstborn son. He's not expected to take up, like, managing duties of Capcom. You know, currently, that's one of his older brothers. You know, his dad, the person that formed the company, really is off making wine right now. Like, if you look him up, like, there's nothing on his modern day profile that has anything to do with, like, managing Capcom. It's all about, like, some vineyard he's on, trying to perfect some, like, perfect blend. There it is. Oops. Now, Ryozo just got a huge promotion. Or at least his title is different. From what I can tell, it seems like the company really, really wants to focus a lot of efforts specifically on Resident Evil and Monster Hunter. They're still going to have other titles that they're going to make. Capcom is a very large company, but it seems like they want to continue to really focus on those big tentpole games because they seem to have the best return on investment there. Night stream starting earlier. It's the rare afternoon stream we'll be doing. So, Street Fighter has been mentioned in stockholder documents as being a title that they actually think that they're going to get into serious esports with. We're going to do Iceborne Red Sharpness. We're going to go up through Shara. You can't take the Switch DNA out of Rise, right? Unfortunately. And, you know, the Switch can be a very capable console at times, but, you know, even in its best of days, it's still not even an Xbox One. Am I getting a Steam Deck? Yeah, I got one pre-ordered. timing is way off. If it was all console, reception would have been better. If it was a global simultaneous release on all platforms and it could handle 16-player lobbies, even looking the way it was, it probably would have been much larger. You have to remember, though, like, at least my theory, this is not confirmed. This is just my theory based on the information that we have available to us. World was a huge gamble for Capcom. You have to remember, before Monster Hunter World released, Capcom had not released any major hits that much recently. Generations was not popular. Generations Ultimate was even less popular, or I guess Cross and then Double Cross. Street Fighter V hadn't really taken off. I mean, go down the list. You know, that wasn't even that bad of a time. That wasn't even that terrible. So, you know, they'd invested a ton of money. In fact, in a lot of ways, the development of Monster Hunter World kind of parallels the development of Dragon's Dogma. The difference being is they went all in on Dragon's Dogma and they just barely recouped their costs from it. The difference is with World is they went all in on it and, like, they made, like, $1 billion. So, you know, it paid off. But, you know, during the development, almost definitely, you know, they had whatever their contact was at Nintendo. And they're like, hey, do you want this huge sack of cash to produce a timed console exclusive for the Switch? And, you know, they took the money because they needed it. They needed to finish funding the development of World. So, you know, they took what they could, and, you know, and then they're obligated, right? So, World came out, you know, Iceborne followed up. It really wasn't even that long after. I mean, even, and especially with the COVID, that Rise came out, and same thing with Sunbreak. But it's very clear that, you know, Rise and Sunbreak is a little bit of an interstitial. I'm not going to call it a side title. It's very clearly a main entry into the series, but it's definitely not like, you know, a director's vision. I mean, there's no way, you know, Ryozo or Chikuta or Ichinose or Suzuki would be like, our preferred platform to be on is Nintendo Switch exclusive. They probably do like the idea that it's on a portable console, and in that regard, there's at least still some small pre-existing Japanese community that does prefer playing games locally in person. Like, that's like a cultural thing there. I mean, part of the reason why Monster Hunter is so successful, why it got so much success over time, was this idea of, you know, a game that you could play cooperatively with friends or strangers in a 15 to 30 minute time period on the go anywhere you want. You know, so you play it on the subway, you play it at school during lunch, play it in school after school, play it in cafe, stuff like that. The problem is, you know, and it's like boomers trying to hold on to their youth is, at least from what I could see and what I can tell in Japan, is as popular as the Switch is, and the Switch is popular. You know, Japan is moving more and more to a mobile gaming, you know, phone-centric sort of ecosystem. I look more beansy as usual. I don't know what that means. I've got like a little scratchy throat. I was having some throat issues last week. I don't know if like maybe my throat is healing. I had a sussy thrusty. No, I mean, I'm good here. What does that mean? Mobile phones. iPhone, Android. or Beansy. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Yeah, so I apologize. My throat is a little scratchy. If my voice cracks and I sound like I'm 12 years old, please don't clip it. Oh. You know, I mean, I'm pretty solidly against gacha games. Probably the most I've ever played a gacha game before was Genshin Impact. And that's a fun game, and actually I'm of the opinion that it's one of the better free-to-play games. The less money you spend on it, actually, the better it is. Just play the special events and take your free pulls, and don't treat it like a job. Don't feel obligated to do your dailies or anything like that, and it's completely fine. But even then, I mean, it's all just like an example for two things. One is gambling, and two is FOMO. And I think those are pretty terrible core tenets of, you know, basing your game design around. I mean, I'm not disrespecting the game. I think it's fun. And the monthly pass is a great value, absolutely. And I spent, I think I did $10 a month on that game, sometimes 15. And I mean, no, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, you're supporting a live service game that constantly gets content added to it and stuff like that. You know, I mean, we spend money on crap all the time. I mean, what's $15 a month if you're trying to support a game you like? I don't really get the stigma against it. And if you've got disposable income, you want to dump your disposable income on it. I don't see that there's anything wrong against that either. But you know, essentially, but the problem though is in the end game is you know is there content being added that's good, sort of. But ultimately, I mean, you can't separate. What are NFTs and why should I hate it? It's a speculative commodity market where, in all likelihood, the majority of people are going to lose money. That's the best case scenario. The worst case scenario is it involves a lot of theft and possible waste of electricity and natural resources. Genshin is one of the most stingy with free stuff. I mean, from what I played in Genshin, if you don't feel obligated to have like all of the characters and all of those characters maxed out all the time, play very casually and you'll be fine. You know, if you really need to launder money or commit crimes, NFTs and cryptocurrency are awesome. I mean, I think they are. I don't know. I don't do either of those things. But from a you know, conceptual perspective of how they're good, I mean, they're pretty great. If you want an extremely high risk investment where you might make a lot of money but are very likely to lose a lot of money, I guess they're pretty okay there too. For me, I am very happy investing money into tech index funds and Capcom stock. And I'll tell you, my Capcom stock is doing awesome. Like, I'm so lucky. I started putting more money into my Capcom stock, and then some Saudi oil fund, like, invested $1 billion into Capcom. It's like, yes! Oh, I'm so lucky. Why are they putting them in games? Because there might be money there, so they're just trying to see if they can get free money. So, I wish I'd put all my money into Capcom. It would be doing much better than tech stocks. Tech stocks have been down quite a bit, but that's fine. I'm not pulling any money out anytime soon, so I'm just gonna chill. When is the best time to invest in Capcom so we could ride the high with you? Now, probably. Here's the thing. Do you have faith that Monster Hunter 6 and or Dragon's Dogma 2 and or the next Resident Evil will be as good as the last games. And will sell more than they ever have. I do. Don't put your all money into one? I know I shouldn't put all my money into one. It would be very risky, but I have a lot of faith. I mean, that's all the stock market is anyways, right? Faith. Confidence that they will continue to perform as well, if not better than they did before. I'm not going to do that. No, you should actually, what is the number? 10% of your portfolio? You should never have more than 10% of your portfolio in any one picked stock, and the rest should be in indexes. That's how my portfolio looks right now anyways. Emotional, it's not even emotional involvement. It's that I eventually want to get enough Capcom stock that I can vote or attend board meetings. I think it's it. Look, here's the thing. You could say all day long, don't invest in one stock, but you know what? It's worked out. I'm glad I put my money in it. How much do you need for that? I mean, technically, I think I have enough stock to already vote anyways. In many cases, you only need one share to attend a board meeting, and I have many more than one share. How many couches can Capcom buy you? I could at least double my number of couches. I'm not rich. Holy crap, I'm not rich. Is this the end of the challenge? No. I guess we'll just get up right to the point where I can fight Banbro, and then we'll get the Sony conference up. I mean, to me, like, a rich person would be somebody who would never need to work another day again for the rest of their life. I still very much need to be an internet clown. Maybe Fatalis. I mean, the issue is Fume is, like, I would have to, like, really do very degenerate strats to beat Fatalis. I think we're just going to go Bone. Remediable. I'm pretty sure we're only going Bone. I mean, here's the thing with investing in stocks. Like, you shouldn't be trying to time anything. I mean, if you're investing in anything, you should be investing in something that you think will continue to grow and develop for at least several years. I mean, we beat Fatalis with high rank gear. We beat Fatalis in our all credit. Wait, did we do all credits? No. But in all monster, we beat Fatalis again. I'm good with my money. You know, there's a lot of people that say, like, people are good with their money, but, like, what does that mean? I don't spend all of it? I guess. I don't know. I don't know what that means. I don't know. I don't know what that means. You invest in me every month with a Twitch subscription. It does continue to provide me to continue to provide entertainment, I guess. Thank you. The thing is, Paget, is like there were runs out there of people beating Fatalis without even using their weapon. So it's possible, but it's going to involve like a max level cat, max Palico tool cat, good timing, good AI, perfect echoes, a lot of things. You know, I guess you'd go pink Rathian armor for increased poison duration. You'd obviously go bombs. You have to restock a lot. Yeah, I mean, I don't. Yeah, I don't really. I mean, I don't really talk about my finances or anything. At least with my in-laws. I mean, sometimes my mom asks me how I'm doing, and I say I'm doing good. So. The Xeno fight was pretty good, Bellow Yellow. You should actually go back and check out the VOD for the first 10 minutes. I got a really interesting flinch lock going on for a while. How are your studies going? I mean, if you're in school, you shouldn't have incredibly large concerns about your finances anyways. I mean, having a job lined up would be nice, but like, how are you supposed to do that? You're in school. I mean, yeah, it'd be great. Oh yeah, no, I've got a, you know, $80,000 career job lined up right away. I mean, we just do not live in that society anymore. You know what I mean? That's unreasonable. What would I do with $100 billion?
Walrus Pug give the Fume Gamer a subscription.
Walrus Pug, thank you.
Walrus Pug gives
Fume, thank you so much for all you do as well.
Gamer.
I would probably give away at least 99 billion of it. Probably. Or hold on. I wouldn't give it away. I would personally finance public transportation systems in areas that needed them. I would definitely stream variety. I mean, I would still play a lot of Monster Hunter. I'd stream more variety. I'd keep streaming. I mean, here's the thing. Even keeping $1 billion is exceedingly greedy. It's exceedingly greedy. I mean, I could absolutely live for the remainder of my life off of $1 million, let alone 100 million, let alone 1 billion, let alone 100 billion. You can't spend that money. It's an honor and privilege. Thank you. You could build 1 mile of highway with all that money. It gets me so mad. I would own my own private highways and charge tolls on them? 1 million would not be enough? I think you underestimate my ability to budget and invest. Absolutely. Real estate, buy a lot of property. I mean, I'm not really interested in becoming a landlord or a small business owner outside of streaming video games. You know, I mean, nothing is guaranteed in finance, but generally speaking, if you wanted to be somewhat conservative, $25,000 is about $1,000 of passive income a year invested somewhat safely in the stock market. So, I mean, you're looking at about $40,000 a year. That's more than enough to live comfortably pretty much anywhere in the world. Outside of maybe, like, you know, the major U.S. cities. I don't know what the hell else everyone else is doing with their money. I mean, assuming you're not paying, like, too much in tax and stuff like that. You'd want a farm? Sounds like a lot of work. I mean, I wouldn't mind having a goat and trying to make amends. try to make up for the sins of my past, but... Spyro, thank you.
Resubscribed for 22 months. Chad Weakers.
Yeah, we've got time to pick up Banbro, and then we're gonna switch over, I think. You'd want a sunroom with birds and plants? I mean, you'd have to heat it as well, I guess, but yeah, I mean that'd be nice. I mean, as a personal sunroom owner, they are a nice thing to have. It's hard though. I mean, where I live, it's not really a comfortable place to sit for 8 months out of the year, 7 months out of the year. I actually watched a video today on a guy going through and explaining the differences between the human pupil, cat pupils, and like goat pupils, and it was really interesting. Humans, of course, are a primarily daytime creature. They're daytime hunters for the most part. So our pupils are designed to actually filter out a lot of light for the most part and only really expand a bit at night to try and see a little bit better. But we obviously can't see very well. Cats have vertical eyes so that they can open up really wide at night, get a lot of light in there, and then contract during the day. It ends up being a little bit more of a blurry vision than human vision during the day, but it still works out. And it's vertical because when they hunt, they like run and then they jump on things. So they need like that vertical vision as they do that. Whereas goats, they're not running and jumping in anything, but they need like wider horizontal vision. So that's why they have the horizontal slanted eyes or slitted eyes. So they get a wider field of vision for the same thing, but they still have good night vision. Because goats, I mean, historically they can't go inside and close a door and go in a cave and close a door or something like that. You wouldn't want $100 million, that house that's foolish. A lot of people that become like, you know, one-hit wonder celebrities and stuff like that, or, you know, or sports people and stuff like that, invest a lot of money into real estate that they plan to live in themselves. And then when they run out of money, they end up not being able to afford the upkeep and taxes on it. They have to sell it. So you got to be really careful. What news are we open for State of Play? Final Fantasy is about the only thing we could really expect, I guess. Matsu, hello. Please let me in. Yeah, actually, the guy created a like little pinhole viewing thing with like a tin can Wonder Malt, and he showed how it went blurry. Gotham Knights news? It's possible. I mean, they said that they were focusing primarily on Japanese produced games, but I mean, obviously it may not be exclusively. Do you think Sunbreak's story is going to be in Master Rank or in High Rank since Village Story was Low Rank? You know, I think for the first time, I think the Village Story might actually be a bit... I don't know, it's hard to say. If they scale it for High Rank, it's going to be a bit of a cakewalk. Because everybody's going to be coming in with maxed out High Rank gear. If they scale it for Master Rank, it might then turn the guild into a bit of a cakewalk, because then you'll go into guild with like maxed out armor there. So it's going to be a very interesting conundrum. Destiny advertisement incoming? I really don't know. We'll definitely get some discussion on Final Fantasy Origins, because, I mean, yeah, I mean, the game itself is releasing in... Is it a week? 2 weeks? Sharpness, hello. Final Fantasy 16 is in 2 weeks. I don't think so. Final Fantasy Origins, I think, is like, it's less than 2 weeks. It's like Neo. You gotta kill Chaos. You haven't watched me in a while? That's okay. I forgive you. I don't hold any grudges. Is Final Fantasy Origins going to be a series? Certainly if it's really popular, I mean, it'll get a sequel. It'll probably get at least DLC or an expansion. It's a sloppy, cringy Neo? I disagree. I mean, it's definitely a lot more of an approachable Neo. The cringe is 100% by design. Am I standing? I've been sitting for a while because, like, I messed up my ankle. And you know what? It feels a lot better. It feels. I think it's actually healed. It was not healing when I was standing on it. Do I make my own meatballs? No. No, I don't. Normally, I buy them. My in-laws make their own meatballs. My hunter looks like a rich old man in his Bugatti. He looks miserable. Not look like a happy guy. You like the gameplay, but the cringe is unbearable? Dude, that's like the whole point. The whole point is the cringe. I mean, I respect that you don't like it, but... It'd be like saying, like, you don't like Devil May Cry because, like, it's too stylish. I mean, and the worst part is... You know, there was some feedback from, like, the launch trailer and stuff. And they actually toned down the number of times Jack says chaos in the English translation. It's very upsetting, actually. I kind of want to re-chaos the game. I mean, mild spoilers aside, I mean... You know, there's a point in the game where freaking Jack throws on some headphones and starts listening to Limp Bizkit. I mean, how can you not like that? It's, like, amazing. Boss fights were pretty fun. Boss fights are actually really challenging. So here's my one issue. Is when you play Neo, you have your normal play style, and within the confines of, like, the abilities and the play style you have, you can approach most bosses and those mechanics. If you master them, you'll be able to beat the game no problem. I'm not saying Final Fantasy Origins isn't the same way, but there definitely feels like some setups that almost break the game, and that's almost how you're intended to beat it on hard. Is you're more expected to, like, get overpowered and just destroy the things by being overpowered, not necessarily playing the game in a standard way. It's supposed to be a Final Fantasy game? I mean, have you played Final Fantasy VII, though? Or Final Fantasy VIII? I mean... The series is no stranger to having, like, maximum edgelord characters saying ridiculous things. You know what I mean? It's definitely, there's going to be a segment of people that want to make builds and sets that break the game. You know, and look, Remediable, this is just my impressions from the demo, and I could be way off base. But it felt like that. So... In the second demo that came out, there was a boss you could fight that was different from the first demo. And there was an intended method to beat him that involved absorbing stuff and shooting stuff back. Instead, I just picked like the Lancer or something, and I just threw lances at it until it died. I mean, you also have to remember, Rune, I played the game on hard. The demo was scaled on hard, you know, and I didn't have like hours to grind. So, I mean, they were going to be tanky because I was playing it on a hard difficulty. You know, if they weren't tanky, it wouldn't be hard. It would be normal or easy or game journalist or whatever the ranges of difficulties can be. So we're going to return out. I want his bones. I want to make the bone longsword, I think. Hopefully, we're not going to regret that. I guess I should also throw on my second mantle. It's a shame we never got a fortified deco. Do any games actually have a journalist difficulty? I would say for the most part nowadays, most main releases, if they have a difficulty system, that usually have. Oops. Oh, that's sad. I don't have a. On this scene, I don't have anything back. I'll throw that there. Yeah, we're switching over to state of play right now. I'm assuming it's up, like on YouTube or something. I'm so blue right now.